Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is Leading Off, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia. With me is the Welsh, and of course, it's
Let's
you.
go.
That's right, baby. Let's go. It's a baseball fun Friday. We got home run calls. We got a losing streak snapped by Shohei Ohtani, single-handedly grabbing the Angels by the haunches and willing them to victory last night, and a new leader in the American League Cy Young race. How you doing, Welsh? Welcome to the program, buddy. Look at all these pitching performances from last night.
Look at all the. Did you say haunches? By the way, what a word!
Grabbing them by the haunches.
What an absolute word! A+ effort for the haunches. Yes, lots and lots of pitching performances. Point out my guy Shane McClanahan. What did I say? I want to go back and do the math. I want to start it fresh, or if somebody in the Peanuts or Cracker Jacks wants to help me, I want to go back and I want to track the Shane McClanahan Ks to how many times he's hit it, and do the whole season to work through my magic. Like I said, how much money could you make from a profit standpoint of taking his Ks every single time the over, as he smashed it again and continues to dominate? Love me some Shane McClanahan, but we don't have to talk only about him and those K props.
Well, I mean, we can certainly start there, because as of this morning, he's now gone ahead of Justin Verlander, which I think is still preposterous. To tell you the truth, I think it's a huge trap. I think this is the time, if you haven't bet Verlander, this is the time to go and bet Verlander. I'm telling you right now. That's what I would do. That is, I'm just telling you what I would do.
What do the odds look like
my
now?
thing. I will pull them up right now. We're going to take a look at them, but I feel like, once again, you're talking about every time somebody has a good performance, somebody leapfrogging somebody else. That's a very dangerous thing. So although McClanahan's been great, and he has been, I think, you're looking right now, Justin Verlander is still the consensus leader at plus 400. McClanahan's plus 500, but on FanDuel, that's changed. On FanDuel, he is plus 360, and Verlander's plus 410 now, which I think is a foolish thing. They're really trapping you. But if you haven't gotten into Verlander, just watch this market. This is the time to do it. Because, again, McClanahan has to be the guy who, carries over into the second half too, to really prove it. The Rays have to continue to be a good team. I still think offensively they have a lot of problems. So I'm not saying McClanahan's not great. He was one of my favorite pitchers coming into the season. He's been awesome. But I think this little leapfrog that he took on the FanDuel side, at least, because if you look at the consensus line, it's Verlander still ahead. But in that one spot, it's changed on FanDuel. And I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I agree with you on especially on this is, like, this is not the time to bet Shane McClanahan. Like, I think that's kind of past. No. I am interested in the values on these, because there's a lot of volatility. There's a ton of volatility that could follow a guy like him. But you know what? Listen, he is I love this. From qualified pitchers, if you're just looking at overall K percentage, he is the leader. There's actually only 5 pitchers with a 30% K percentage. Again, of qualified, big names. McClanahan is the leader. There is no bigger gap than between 1 and 2, where there is almost a 3% gap. Shane McClanahan, 35.5% K percentage, 32.7 for Dylan Cease, who's number 2. And of those top 5, nobody has a lower walk percentage than Shane McClanahan at 44.7. And that gives him the number 1 qualified K minus walk percentage in the league by almost 5 points. Number 2 is 26%. So you're minusing the walk percentage by K percentage of Corbin Burns, 30.8, almost 5 for Shane McClanahan. That boy is good.
That boy good.
He good. That's my analysis.
8 innings,
that boy good.
No earned, 2 hits, 9 Ks for him last night. Other notable performances: Shohei Ohtani finally snapping the 14-game losing streak, so we don't have to talk about the what if they break the record kind of stuff. Garrett Cole making some history too, gave up back-to-back home runs yesterday, 5 home runs and a no decision. So a wacky start for Garrett Cole yesterday.
Can I interject for 1 second?
Please.
I did put out one of the reasons the Peanuts and Cracker Jack should be following me on Twitter at is that the Welsh was after the show. I decided we needed to take that poll of the songs to the streets. We need to take it to the streets. And I tweeted out, and actually there's still a little, not that it matters at this point, time to vote. I said, the debate, what should we do? I say cartoon songs. Joe says Taylor Swift songs. And 62.5% of people said go with the cartoon TV show song. So just want to say
what a
that they
surprise. A
agreed
bunch
with
of
me.
nerdy guys want to go with the songs from their childhood of cartoons and
Nah,
not the pretty girl. They're just intimidated by the thought of walking up to a Taylor Swift song. So come on. I mean, like I said,
I couldn't name you one
more
Taylor
the
Swift song,
focus
by the
group.
way.
You couldn't?
I don't
Oh,
think I could. I
that's
think I would
of course you
recognize
can.
them. This is what I could do. I could be like, yeah, I know that one. I heard that one. That's the best I could do with this. I don't think, off the top of my head, there's not one song that comes to mind of Taylor Swift.
She's prolific. That's all
Sing
you
it.
need to know. All right.
Sing it.
Well, I mean, so what? You want to did you shake it off? You want to do blank
Oh,
space?
shake it
You
off.
wanna
Okay,
do,
shake it off. I should have known that.
I mean,
one.
come on, baby, let's go. And I see Chris has now entered, our producer, because he didn't put the home run board in. I talked to Ethan. I already put it in there because I didn't see it. So I got you, Chris. You can go back. Go back to your nap or
Chris.
or your
What does
golf
Chris
game,
think?
whatever you're
TV
doing.
shows or Taylor Swift? Well,
Knowing Chris, I think he's going Taylor Swift.
You can put it in the private chat if you want,
Yeah.
Chris.
Bobby Witt steals 2 bases Thursday on the O's. Joey Gallo homers twice in that Yankee game. Again, that Yankee game was wild. Byron Buxton had 2 dingers in that game. Trevor Larnach lunged a ball that hasn't landed yet. Clay Holmes did get his 9th save, though. So a lot of stuff going on there. Some injury news to get to as well. We'll get to that in a second. Before we do, Jose Ramirez also up to 15 on the board as well. Steven Strasburg, well, he's back. And he gave up 7 runs in his season debut. What are your takeaways from the first start for Steven Strasburg, who, in all fairness, has not pitched at the big league level in a while? He might feel healthy, but he certainly doesn't look like Steven Strasburg, at least not yesterday.
Well, at least my bets weren't about his performance. It was just about him pitching. My thoughts? He pitched. He didn't get hurt immediately. Those are good things.
Wow, that is a low bar. That is a very low
really
bar.
Good things. By the way, that man Byron Buxton is starting to get hot. Don't let that man get hot. Don't let that man get hot, and then me change the vibe of this show for a couple weeks. Just don't let it happen.
All right, so Nelson Cruz was scratched from the lineup with back tightness. Tyler Stevenson goes on the IL with a thumb. So again, hurt at the beginning of the year, hurt again. Mike Trout, though, is hoping to return today. So keep an eye on that in your daily lineup leagues. And then Garrett Whitlock is dealing with a hip issue. So that's not great. So that explains a little bit maybe of the drop off recently. Chris Sale, though, for Boston, returning to a reliever initially is a possibility. So there you have it. So Chris Sale perhaps just trying to get back and help the team. And like the Red Sox have turned things around in the last month. After a terrible April, they've certainly, kind of found themselves, pulled themselves up by their haunches, if you will. A lot of haunch pulling.
I'd be interested in. I wonder if the team would go, how would they use him? Would they use him back in that opener role like they've done in the past? Or do you do what Joey wants for DeGrom, and do you go put him in a closing spot? I mean, Chris Sale over 1 inning or 2. That's the other interesting thing. You can almost use him like Hader a couple years ago. You could have him be the fireman for Boston. He's the guy that closes out games instead of flipping him and doing the opener. I think that would be so much more value. If you're going to relieve Chris Sale, if you're going to do that, put him in that role where he can be a fireman and shut out these games when your bullpen's a little sus.
Sure.
Don't open him up on games. We don't need that.
That closer thing has been a problem. What I think they might do personally is I think they might piggyback him and Whitlock together and then eventually make that turn to Whitlock going back into the closer role and Sale taking over in the rotation. Because I don't think I think you're paying Sale too much right now to close games, and you're still kind of from behind. Whereas with the Mets situation, when I said with DeGrom before, a couple months ago, that thought process was, hey, look, you've got a bunch of starting pitchers already. You're already in the first place. You're already, the best team in baseball deep in terms of like both sides of the ball and everything you could do. At least in that conversation, I think that's kind of where that thought process comes. But look, if his Sale became a closer too, that wouldn't shock me. At this point, nothing shocks me. It's just getting these guys back and healthy and contributing.
I really like the idea. I'm into like the piggybacking if you've got a lot of depth, like what the Padres were going to do. I mean, it looks a little silly now, but they were going to do that with Clevenger and Gore. And at this point, you got to find a way to make them all work, even if you go to 6 or you maintain a 6. But I disagree that Sale makes too much money to close out games. I mean, they've lost games by Matt Barnes being crap this year. They've like, that is a huge need. Here's my point though. If you are not going to commit to Chris Sale starting games, are you really better piggybacking him 2 or 3 innings with Garrett Whitlock, or are you better just saying Chris Sale is going to be our dominant closeout when we get there. And we can take him 2, maybe 3 innings to finish out the back half of games. I like that idea for them. And then maybe they can put focus on a trade of just getting one more starter to come in. He could be Hader-like here. I mean, the amount of bullpen change that could happen over Major League Baseball. I mean, like, Clay Holmes is dominating. I think that guy, if he sticks in that role without Chapman, could be a top 5 closer. Chris Sale could do that same thing, and you could do it a couple times a week. I'm super into that. Definitely over the stupid opener thing. I don't want that for him.
Yeah, I don't want to do the opener thing.
It's just valueless if it happens.
Well, I mean, it depends on also if Chris Sale, when you're a closer, you might pitch a few days in a row. I don't know if that's the relief role they want him in. Like if it's a scheduled relief role when he's going to be pitching 3 innings because he's building up stamina, okay, I understand that. You'd rather him do that every 5th day at the big league level and give you big league innings as opposed to giving you AAA innings and rehab starts. That I understand. I feel like that's what they're saying, but maybe they should open themselves up to other opportunities. So Pavetta's pitched very well recently. Evaldi's been pretty good. I mean, you can make that case, but personally, I think they're going to go put him back in the starter role. So, but the nice thing is, if he gets enough, I don't know, depending on your league and the way it's all functioning, if somehow he ends up qualifying at relief pitcher because he gets enough appearances there, like if they kind of extend this over a month, I don't know, man. That's kind of interesting. All of a sudden,
and then he starts. Yeah, then he'd be one of those cheat code guys. Like, God, I mean, imagine all these points leagues and stuff with Luis Severino and Michael Kopech at the RP spot. We talked about in the draft season. Those are the 2 biggest cheat codes instead of having closers, and you could be rocking both those guys, and then you could throw Sale into that mix. That'd be nice. Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, and of course, all of that news came from the Fantasy Pros news desk, which Mike Mayer wants us to obviously plug. And
hey, write down that URL, everybody. Write that URL. You'll get it. We have a clickable one in there. That's not. Well, I guess we could copy and paste it.
It's all right. All right. Before we move on to a lot of the heroes of the night, the hero of the grill is obviously Omaha Steaks, and you need to go get the Dads Want Steaks package. You don't have that much time left to order it before Father's Day, so you better get on this today. Use the promo code leading off. What you do is you go to omahasteaks.com, type leading off in the search bar. Now, I love a lot of people at checkout trying to put leading off in. I've heard about this. It's in the search bar, and it's going to take you to a beautiful landing page for the Dad Want Steaks package. And for $99, you're going to get the bacon wrap fillets. You're going to get the jumbo franks. You're going to get the air chill boneless chicken breast. You're going to get the caramel apple tartlets, and you're going to get 8 free steak burgers, baby, because you're using that promo code leading off. But do it in the search bar when you go to omahasteaks.com. It's very important you do that. The Omaha Steaks are delicious, high quality meat. Everything is vacuum sealed. Everything is packed really well. And look, I mean, it makes a nice gift for yourself, a nice gift for your dad, nice gift for any dad out there, or just anyone out there. So please go out there, go get yourself something nice and have some fun grilling. It's a beautiful day out there. Hopefully the weekend weather is nice, and you get that Omaha Steaks. Again, it's omahasteaks.com. In the search bar, put in the promo code leading off. That's one word, because Omaha Steaks naturally aged for the ultimate tenderness, juiciness, and flavor, just like Welsh.
I would also tell you,
naturally aged Welsh.
Not so aged
naturally.
I would tell you also, think of it like this mentally. You could have a family reunion and feed your entire family reunion with this box for the price of filling up your gas tank. That's it. That is the thing. I have a truck that horrifically maybe bad idea. I filled my tank up the other day, first time in quite a bit, over $100. And I was like, okay, what are we doing here? For less than filling up my tank, you can get an entire box of meat. Yeah. All the meat in the world you could have. Set you up for like a month, or you could have a tank of gas.
There you go. Wonky Penguin suggests that like I put the crown on for BetMGM. I should like slap myself with a T-bone or something in order to.
I wish we were in the same studio and I could sign up for that. I could just
you would be the first, my
while
friend.
You're doing it. Oh, God,
you would not be the first. All right, let's talk about some other of the awards too. I want to talk about this because this is a good point in the year to start discussing this. I have already officially cashed out of any other thing that I had. I only had, I think, Bobby Witt, and I had a little small piece of Joe Ryan for American League Rookie of the Year. It's all on Julio. Julio's going to be a minus number this time next week. It's plus 165 consensus. Fox Bet still has it at plus 225. BetMGM's got a plus 140. So go ahead and find the best one you can. But Julio is my guy. I made a hefty investment in Julio. I made a little side piece investment after the rocky April just in case. I've already gotten out of those, reinvested them into Julio, even though it's late in the game, because I do believe, Welsh, this race is going away. Do you agree?
I'm not. Well, no, I don't necessarily agree. I do agree. It is Julio right now. It is Julio. I mean, and we know what's so funny. It's like, remember when we were doing the whole bold predictions, and the one I had was for Bobby Witt, and it would be he would running away with it, and it happens to be Julio. 50-50 chance on those. The only thing I would throw out to you, I agree it's Julio. That's a smart money bet, but I might throw just a couple bucks on Bobby Witt at this point. He just stole a couple more bases. He's got 10 stolen bases, 7 homers on the year. The average isn't there. It is a garbage team. Mariners aren't doing, I suppose, much better, but it's like 900.
Well, they're both garbage teams, but the difference is Julio has highlight reels. He is Julio highlight reel.
I completely agree.
That's the difference. And I think that's what's capturing people. And Bobby Witt's a great baseball player, but Julio has a certain flair. He's got that weird, that Yasiel Puig factor, that fun to watch factor. Like
he is.
That sometimes people are just entertaining when they play baseball. Julio,
he's absolutely electric. I'm just saying
that matters.
You got a rookie on June 10th who is projecting to be a 2025 guy still. And it's not just Julio Rodriguez. My only point is if let's just say I had $100 and I was going to dedicate it all to rookie of the year betting, 75 of it I would want to put on Julio Rodriguez, but I'm going to put 25 of that on Bobby Witt at 9-1 right now, just in case the second half starts going. Bobby Witt is that type of guy for sure. Julio Rodriguez is showing us exactly who he should be. And the weird calls earlier in the season, that's how I would approach this. There's nobody else I would go with. Julio's a smart bet. That's the primary money. And you know what? You might be right that it gets to minus money here soon, but Bobby Witt's just a little too enticing for me in that race.
National League MVP, it's still Mookie Betts at plus 290 in the consensus on Betting Pros. Manny Machado's at plus 420. So is Paul Goldschmidt. Harper is in that 950 range. Still, Pete Alonso is 12-1 in some spots. Other places have dropped him down to 850, which I see. So there's a big variance there. I still feel like Alonso and Acuna are lurking in this race. And Mookie Betts just, again, I haven't made a big investment on National League MVP yet. I cash out a Harper because once the manager gets fired, it's real tough to then think that, okay, this team is going to be really good the rest of the year. It rarely happens.
Yeah, I mean, I would
same thing with Ohtani now. That's worried me too in the American League, to be honest.
If you had the ability to cash out, it's smart because you could get back in theory, like a better price. I would not discount Harper. Goldie is the one I would feel a little bit better about. I mean, he is one of the sole reasons.
Well, there's a narrative building, and I just set up a big segment on the TV show on the Sports Grid. So on Sports Grid every Sunday, I do a 2-hour show with Matt Stryker. We do a baseball show, and we do a segment called, where we watch the in between the lines, where we start to look at these movements. And I'm telling you right now, there's every reason to believe that the Cardinals can overtake the Brewers and run away with this division. And I mean, run away.
And
with
it is.
And if they do, Goldschmidt's going to be the MVP.
Yes, I agree. That's the. If I were playing in that one, I particularly don't love this area, but that would be the spot. The AL one, though, Joe. The AL one has all the juicy odds in your world.
I still made money on the Ohtani investment, and when Joe Madden got fired, I've wiped my hands of the Ohtani investment right now. As of now,
you're out. You said it's a,
but I made money on it. It was a fool's bet until the manager gets fired. And look, this was a great performance by Ohtani. He's still hovering, but here's my thought process. You ready for this? So I already made money on that, cashed out of it. So I took the profits of that, put it into Aaron Judge, and I'm going to wait to see if the Ohtani number moves now, which is starting to maybe 4, 5, maybe it goes even further. And if that guy really comes on all of a sudden in the second half, you can put a 10 spot on Ohtani. All of a sudden, if he's 6-1, you're going to make $60 on that. That's a pretty easy sell for me.
2.5 to 1 on DraftKings, but he's almost 4-1. He's at plus 375 on BetMGM. The best odds.
The negative trend is going. So here's what you want to do. And this is again, this is the finer points of betting on baseball in the futures market. So bear with me, everybody. So right now, you're going a week from now. If Aaron Judge has another huge monstrous week, he's going to be minus money. This is the last time to get Aaron Judge in positive money. So I took my Ohtani profits, moved them into Aaron Judge, invested there while it's still plus money. I think I got it at 2.5 to 1 somewhere. And then after that, when that goes minus, then that's gone. I'm not betting on it again. But Ohtani becomes a more interesting wager because all of a sudden, at the beginning of the year, he was 2.5 to 1, 3 to 1. Now he might be 4, 5, or 6. That's the time we can really get an Ohtani and make a lot of money there. for a very small investment. It's the way you work the market. I'm not saying Ohtani is done, but I'm saying it's time to take the money out of that if you can, put it in Judge while it's still plus, and then turn around and then back yourself up. Again, this is called investment, and this is the way I bet the futures market. It's the way, I mean, last year in the show, I talked quite a bit about it with Bryce Harper, with Ohtani, with some other guys too, that, we didn't hit on, but most of them we did. But this is the way to do it. It's a living, breathing animal. And if you do it right, you can make money on it and continue to reinvest the profits.
But it is also very specific, though, because you can't do this on any other site. This is a you bet with FanDuel, and they allow the investment. But I think there's a lot of people out there.
I don't think it's the only one you can cash out on.
Well, okay. I mean, I do. FanDuel, I have mine on DraftKings. DraftKings has not offered.
I know DraftKings
anything.
Doesn't let you do that.
Well, they do. They have they'll have a cash out at it, but they have not offered me anything on any of my bets currently. FanDuel has like you said, it's a living, breathing, daily money that you can play with it. So it is very specific. I think outside of that, take that away for a second. Let's assume you're on the leader. BetMGM. You just used the promo code leading off. You just signed up. You're ready to make that futures bet. Is Judge your bet where you're going to put your money? You have $100, Joe. You have $100, and you're going to do it on MVP futures.
If I have $100, what I
Judge, or do you do 75 on Judge, 25 on Ohtani at those odds?
If I've just got 100 for MVP, it's 75 on Judge, and I'm going to wait for that 25 on Ohtani to when it gets even as high as I can get it. And then I'll put the 25 in there and hedge a little bit, because I'm telling you right now, the Judge money is going to be minus before we know it. And I think that's the difference. So this is a good conversation. People get really, they get intimidated by the betting market and all this stuff. But you shouldn't be. There's ways to do it that are very logical and sensible. And again, it's like almost like playing a game. It's not like betting so much as playing. It is stock. Yeah.
It is. It's literally the concept where people will do. I mean, it's like day trade. I'm not 100% sure. Someone said, Kevin said that BetMGM lets you cash out. They all let you cash out.
Yes.
I just don't know if BetMGM works like FanDuel, because I know DraftKings does not, in that every day they'll offer new money. And how FanDuel does it is very much almost like a day trading aspect. You could treat it.
It is a very day trading aspect, which is true. And BetMGM, should do that for sure, because it is a great way. And this is what I do with the NFL market too. And I've made money doing that. And hopefully everybody hangs out with us and continues to do this. But let's get a little bit more historical for a moment. In 1981, Phillies first baseman Pete Rose singles off Nolan Ryan today in baseball. And in the first inning, he ties Stan Musial for the NL's all-time hit leader with 3,630. And this show, we just spent 10 minutes talking about betting. And it's sponsored by a betting house. I just thought that was fun. I just wanted to bring that up. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about it. Trivia time. Who was the first player to win the Cy Young Award in consecutive seasons? A little interesting there. Who was the first player to win the Cy Young Award in consecutive seasons? If you think you know the answer, drop it in the chat. The Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks. There you go. So I'm sure everyone's running to the Wikipedias and the Google machines. In the meantime,
how far back do we have to go?
Well, certainly a pitcher, certainly a pitcher in the Hall of Fame, certainly a pitcher that, I had baseball cards of. So there you go.
Pedro?
All right, stat heroes. Shane McClanahan, obviously at the top of that list yesterday, 9 Ks over 8 scoreless innings. Miles Mikolas continues to be fantastic. 9 Ks for him over 8. Ohtani, 6 Ks. Huge start for the Angels there. Really good job by him. Tyler Mahle starting to pitch better too. 10 Ks, 6 innings, 1 earned. He could certainly help a contending rotation. And Max Fried, 8 Ks, 6 innings. Max Fried was that lock starter yesterday we talked about in the main slate. Byron Buxton, 2 for 4 with 2 bombs. Same thing, Joey Gallo, 2 bombs. Christian Bettencourt hit a home run. Max Muncy hit a home run. I think Tony La Russa is on the hot seat. I'm just telling you, Welsh. He might be the next manager to go. All the old guys are getting ousted from baseball. We're going to have robot managers. It's going to be robot managers pretty soon.
Tony will get fired and just nothing will change about his day. His day will be exactly the same.
Probably.
Get on a golf cart, little martini. It'll all be the same.
Oh, let's hope he's got a designated driver for the cart. Jesus Sanchez, 2 for 4 with a home run. Gavin Lux, 4 for 4. Bobby Witt, we mentioned 2 steals, 2 for 3. MJ Melendez went yard. Freddie Freeman, 3 for 5 with 3 ribbies. And Aaron Hicks, 2 for 5 with a home run. The zeros, Steven Strasburg, 7 earned runs. I wonder how many people actually started him. I wonder if we have the the ratio of people that actually started Steven Strasburg last night. I'm sure we have that on Fantasy
You know what?
Pros.
CBS has they have an element of their
They have
players
the
where you can
roster
see their
they're
start. Yeah,
starting.
you can see your start
Pull it
percentage
up
on
for.
there.
I
Yeah,
bet it's.
if
I bet
I
it's
can.
under 50%. It's got to be under 50. Garrett Cole,
CBS.
7 earned runs yesterday in 2 1/3. It was dreadful. Dylan Bundy, 4 earned runs. Jordan Lyles, 6 earned runs. Tyler Anderson, 4 earned runs. Not a good start for him. And Lou Trevino, 4 earned in 1/3 of an inning. Dalton Varsho, 0 for 4, 3 Ks. Mookie Betts, 0 for 6 with 2. Bad night for Mookie. I like boom. Oh, I like boom. I like go boom boom at the plate. 0 for 5, 2 Ks, hitting 172 in June. Bust. That's it. I'm calling it. I hate this place. My name is Alec with a C, and I hate this place. Bust. Ramon Lariano, 0 for 5. 0 for 4 with 2 strikeout club. Rafi Devers, Matt Olson, Jared Walsh, Mike Yastrzemski, Big Dan Vogelback, and Tommy Edman.
I've got the number for
Did
you.
You have an answer? What's the number?
I do. What do you think it is? Take a guess of start percentage. He is. I will tell you his roster percentage first. On CBS, 82% owned. So how much percentage did he start?
43% started him.
A lot smarter people. 26%.
26%
right. Started of 82% rostered. So there you go.
There you have it. The answer to the question was Steve Carlton. Carlton.
Nobody guessed that. I don't think I saw that in the chat. I saw a lot of Sandy Koufax. I saw some Randy Johnsons. I did not see that. So Joe wins. You let Joe win, chat.
Yeah, let me win.
Good job.
Let's look at the home run board. There it is. We had a little movement because James moves up to 19 thanks to a Josh Naylor home run. Mike Mayer still on this board. I wish the 4 others who he's tied with were on it instead. Go Cards deserves a spot there for sure. Mike Mayer does not. And he knows I'm lurking in the shadows. That's the best part of this. After this weekend, hopefully we're going to come back and see a whole different board. Speaking of boards, let's look at the betting board tonight for BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Bet $10, win $200 on any game, regardless of the outcome. Sign up today, download the BetMGM app, or go to betmgm.com. Bet responsibly, but bet with the promo code leading off, one word for you. Make some money, have some fun. Today, we've got Bryce Harper, total bases, 1.5 on DK. Minus 110 is the juice. Vlad is same thing, 1.5 at minus 105 total bases. Acuna, 1.5 on DK2, minus 120. And Aaron Judge, minus 105. I don't love the prop market tonight, but Welsh, you found one on Joe Musgrove that I think is a lot.
Just one. You know, I will tell you, I had one earlier and they got me. They switched it on me. Roansy Contreras earlier was at 3.5 strikeouts, and that was something I wanted to play. And then they bumped it up to 4.5, and I don't think I want to take that risk. So I'm out on him. But I'm going to go with Joe Musgrove. His strikeout prop is at 5.5, and he has hit that in 5 of his last 6. You know, as far as like team context goes, it's not against a heavy strikeout team, but I like Musgrove. I think it's one of the best ones on the board. Yesterday was better. I got to tell you though, I also, something I like to do, and I think it's riskier because the smartest play you can do in all this betting is just single bets. That's the best way to do it. But sometimes, you know, some of these are just so juiced you can't play it. I will say both of these are not juiced enough that I would play them solo, the Bryce Harper and Vlad. I just love the idea of just popping those 2 together on a little 2-team total base parlay that you got here.
I agree.
You'll probably get
I
like
think you
280.
your 2 favorite ones. Yep.
Yeah, I think you get like probably almost 3-1 on your money on that. And
Probably.
I just like putting those 2 together, maybe put a little bet on there. And Musgrove is at this moment my only K prop. Because I told Joe before the show, I just want to point out the books do not want you to ever be able to properly bet Spencer Strider. They have not been putting Strider out there in his strikeout numbers. He wouldn't have hit it last time, by the way, because it's always going to be above 5. And today they put it at 6.5. And I just can't do that with Strider at this point. We don't know enough, but it's tempting. And if I saw it drop a little bit, I would jump on it. But they don't want us to have Strider.
Right. Let's jump on the good foot and talk a little DFS here. I think Severino is going to be super chalky tonight. So instead, on DraftKings, instead of going 10.3 for him, go 10.5 for Musgrove, and then pair him with Andy Ashby at 8.6 or Luis Castillo at 8.5. In fact, I would do 2 separate lineups with that combination of pitchers. Castillo's been very good lately, and I think the roster percentage is going to be very low on him because it's the Reds. end because of who he's facing. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think that's exactly why it's the perfect tournament play tonight. So I would strongly advise that one. Neil Palante is starting for the Cardinals. So people see the Cardinals, they might not realize, oh, well, it's a young pitcher. So listen to me. Ashby, Castillo, or just you can even pair the two of them together in like a super tournament lineup where you pay up for bats. I'm okay with that as a third option, but I like getting the foundation of a Musgrove if you can make it work. On the FanDuel side and the single pitcher site, 8.7 for Castillo, 8.6 for Ashby. Interchange them in your tournament lineups. In your cash, play Musgrove at 10.9. Keep it simple. I would fade away from Severino. I think it's going to be just very, very chalky. And look, the chalky Garrett Cole didn't work yesterday, so it scared me off a little bit. The game stacks tonight, the Yankees, the Braves, and the Boston Red Sox, especially the Red Sox against Marco Gonzalez. And then the lineup builders on DK, Luke Voigt at 2.6, Trevor Larnach 2.7, Jack Sawinski. Everybody loves Jack Sawinski at 2.2, baby. Let's go. Mark Canha on FanDuel at 2.7, Larnach at 2.5, and Adam Duvall at 2.8. Welsh, where are you going for your home run call this weekend?
Man, I am battling myself. You know what I haven't done in quite a while is we haven't had a Buxton weekend, and I'm very tempted. He's coming off of 3 homers in his last 2 games. He had a multi-hitter. He's got his batting average. He's raised his batting average up from the beginning of the month, almost 30 points. But I'm not going to commit to a Buxton weekend, even though I really feel like I should. I'm going to go with a Vladdy Jr. weekend. Give me Vladdy Jr. throughout the weekend. I kind of like the Detroit matchup. So give me Vladdy Jr. and get me some homers. Get me on the board. Let's have a 2 or 3 homers. Get me close to that board. I want to get on there. Bad.
I want to go out and Judge this weekend again because look, he's going against the Cubs. He's in New York. Let's go. I mean, the Cubs
I almost went there and then I saw you had him and I was like,
you can come with me for the ride. There's nothing wrong. We can hold hands and dance through the fields together. There's nothing wrong with that, baby. Let's go.
But I mean, you and I both
right. That's it.
I do too. We both want to be right. But the one thing we failed to do is we didn't pick the greatest points league player, the greatest third baseman points league player that you can get in Yahoo, like Mike Mayer did. We didn't take Eugenio Suarez, which it looks like he's taking him for the weekend. Not Jose Ramirez, but Eugenio Suarez.
Hey, Mayor, you might be yawning now, but you know what? I could be yawning when I'm ahead of you on that board when we come back on Monday, baby. Let's go. On that note, that'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. We'll be back again, of course, Monday to do it all over, Monday, noon Eastern. Make sure you subscribe to the Fantasy Pros MLB channel. And don't forget, all the waiver wire videos out there, all the trade videos out there. If you're watching this video, like it. And, of course, share and subscribe to our beautiful podcast network here over at Fantasy Pros, all the great pods that we have. So, again, have a great weekend. Go get some Omaha Steaks with that leading off in the search bar. Go make some wagers at BetMGM. Enjoy your weekend. Have some fun. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the weather. Go outside. Go outside.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. He good.
That boy
We'll see
good.
you next time, kids.
That podcast.